By evening, I saw photos and videos of Dubai airport completely shrouded in smoke. The entire area was evacuated, flights were cancelled, and unbelievably, drones were being intercepted near the Burj Khalifa. Debris from missiles intercepted over the Burj Al Arab was falling to the ground, causing fires in some areas. It was shocking. Oh my God. Especially because some family members were on later flights. Unfortunately, they couldn't catch theirs. It was cancelled, and they are still stranded at the Dubai airport, with no clear idea of when it will reopen. What happens next? The one piece of good news in all of this is the strength of the UAE's air defense system. Official sources are reporting that over 100 missiles were fired towards the UAE from Iran, the vast majority of which were destroyed. Hundreds of drone strikes were attempted, but most were intercepted. In many places where you saw fires, it was debris from these interceptions falling to the ground. But why is all of this happening? Let's understand this situation in a little more detail. The US and Israel have launched what appears to be a full-scale military operation against Iran, reportedly named Operation Epic Fury. And this is not a one-day strike. US officials are indicating this could be a multi-day campaign. We are hearing reports of strikes in Tehran, Isfahan, Kerman, and Kermanshah. One of the most significant developments is the confirmed strike on the compound of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali. Iranian state television has now confirmed his death. They have announced 40 days of national mourning and 7 days of public holiday. He was in his office when the strike happened. Along with him, his daughter, son-in-law, and granddaughter are also reported to have been killed. In addition, several top commanders of the Iranian military were killed during a Defense Council meeting. On the streets of Tehran, the reaction has been divided. Some people are celebrating, while others are mourning. In retaliation, Iran has launched missiles not just at Israel, but at several Gulf nations, including the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Explosions were heard in Dubai. In Abu Dhabi, one person has been reported killed by missile debris. Smoke was seen rising near the U.S. Al Udeid Air Base in Doha. In Bahrain, there was a direct hit on the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet Base. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC stated they have attacked over 24 U.S. military bases. They've named their operation Operation True Promise. However, the attacks haven't been limited to military bases. Civilian areas have also been hit, as we saw in Dubai, Kuwait, and Bahrain. 5-star hotels and international airports have been targeted. Imagine this, friends. Over 10 million Indians live in these Gulf countries. Wherever these missiles are falling, your relatives, your friends, millions of Indian workers are there. The Indian embassy has issued an advisory asking Indians to exercise utmost caution. In Israel alone, there are over 18,000 Indian students. Most Gulf countries have closed their airspace. All flights are cancelled. But if these strikes escalate into a full-scale war, the impact will be much worse. India imports more than 50% of its crude oil through the Strait of Hormuz currently. India imports about 2.6 million barrels of oil every day from Gulf countries. If Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz, as reports suggest they have already threatened to do, India's oil supply could be severely disrupted. Experts are calling this India's nightmare scenario. The immediate effect would be skyrocketing petrol and diesel prices. Shipping costs will increase, inflation will rise, and the rupee will come under more pressure. And look at the timing of this. Prime Minister Modi just returned from Israel 2 days ago. On February 25th and 26th p.m., Modi was in Israel, having dinner with Netanyahu, addressing the Knesset. An Israeli defense official told Reuters that this attack was planned weeks ago. This is why some opposition leaders have raised questions. They argue that while India has always maintained a neutral position in this conflict, a visit to Israel right before such a major attack sends the wrong message. But the most heartbreaking aspect of this entire situation is the human cost. In the Iranian city of Minab, a bomb hit a girls' primary school during the day when it was full of children. Reports suggest at least 100 children have been killed. And then, you see the irony. The official Israel account tweets, Israel has the right to defend itself, even though this was an offensive action. To understand how we got here, we have to go back to December 2025. Iran's economy collapsed, the currency fell by 40%, and food prices skyrocketed by 72%. The largest protests in Iran's history began, and the government allegedly opened fire on its own people. Estimates suggest over 30,000 protesters were killed. President Trump responded by saying, help is on the way, and ordered the largest military buildup in the Middle East since the 2003 Iraq War. But just a day before these strikes, Oman's finance minister said a peace deal between the US and Iran was within reach, and the very next day, the bombs began to fall. According to the Washington Post, this attack was planned months in advance. Allegedly, the Saudi prince and Israel repeatedly lobbied Trump to do this. This entire script feels like a repeat of 2003, when the US invaded Iraq. That war lasted 20 years, cost American taxpayers trillions, and caused immense suffering for ordinary people. Now, Iran is twice the size of Iraq. The justification being given is that this is to bring peace and democracy to the Iranian people, to remove a dictator. But the real question is whether this will actually benefit the common people or cause them more harm. Many people looking from the outside might think it will obviously be beneficial. After all, a dictator is gone. But history has shown that foreign interference can make things worse. Look at Gaddafi in Libya and Saddam Hussein in Iraq. Both were brutal dictators, but when the US invaded and removed them, those countries became more unstable. The lives of ordinary people went from bad to worse, and new terrorist organizations emerged. The biggest fear now is that Iran could become similarly unstable. If you want to understand the deep geopolitics behind this entire situation, the history of the conflict between Iran, Israel, and the USA, I have explained it in detail in this video right here. You can click on it to watch it. This is a developing and incredibly personal situation for me. My thoughts are with everyone affected, especially the innocent civilians and children. Please, stay safe, and I will keep you updated. This is Rana Asif, signing off.